All right, the break-into protection failure feature. The break-into protection feature. There are two different arrangements of the break-into protection feature from this can be found in the 26L equipped locomotive. The present standard arrangement employs the A1 charging of the cutoff pilot valve with the major value component. The original arrangement employed by the HB5 relay air valve. The description of the operation is included. All right, with A1 charging over the cutoff pilot valve, when the breaking into protection features and employing the A1 charging of cutoff pilot valve that's shown and figured on the diagram, plate 2. During the normal braking operation, A1 charging cutoff valve will, in its normal release position, figure 8 near main reserve air pressure of the chamber A beneath the cutoff position, held and hold in the upper position shown in the chamber B beneath the cutoff position. Spool valve connected to the exhaust port number 53. Cutoff pilot valve, exhaust 26 brake, C brake valve, and leading units on trailing of the units with the cutoff valve into the out position. The chamber is charged in the main reserve air. The chamber of the C above the cutoff position. The number 8 is connected to the exhaust port. Exhaust V with the actuating piston spool valve with the automatic standing time choke, and the brake air pipe flows from the number 1 to the chamber D surrounding the backside of the actuating piston through the choke and the position of the chamber E, the outer face of the piston through the number 11 into the 90 cubic inch volume reserve, charging the volume of the reserve, both sides of the actuating pipe. The brake pipe pressure piston is therefore held down in position to the spring tension as shown in port number 35, and the chamber beneath the dynamic cutout switch is exhausted through the cutoff piston spool valve. Whenever the break-into occurs, the brake pipe air pressure drops faster from the chamber D and the chamber E valve of the choke. The resultant pressure differential across with the actuating piston causes the spool valve to be moved upwardly against the spring tension as shown in the lower view of the figure 8. The position main reserve air is connected through the actuating spool valve chamber C at the outer face of the cutting off piston. Also port number 9 of the powder cutoff switch or the PC. Switch and standing reserve. The chamber B beneath the cutoff spool valve, normally exhausted as mentioned, the presence of the main reserve pressure, and chamber C of the outer face of the cutoff position will cause the piston or spool valve to be forced inwardly into the lowest position, wherein the chamber A beneath the cutoff valve position is exhausted in the position, their main reserve air is connected through the cutoff position with the spool valve with the number 35 with the dynamic cutout switch, and also unseated the cutoff check valve with the port number 53 and the brake pipe cutoff valve with the number 26 brake valves. Air pressure of 90 cubic inches of the volume reserved in the port number 11 in the chamber E beneath the actuating chamber containing the reducing to 0 through the piston choke. This is showing the lead or trailing locomotive normal release, the cutoff position, automatic timing, standing of the choke, the actuating piston, the checkout and selector valves, lead in locomotive manual brake valve, emergency trail locomotive, any emergency, and an actuating pipe position after the 211 pipe volume reserve exhaust through the time choking and lead locomotive break into emergency. And port number 1, to break the pipe exhaust, the pressure has been reduced to predetermined valve. The spring tension will move the actuating piston to the spool valve at the lower position, most position shown in the auxiliary figure 8, and air pressure from the power cutoff switch standing reserve will then exhaust the automatic standing time to the choke with Viva port number 9, actuating piston spool valve air pressure likewise to exhaust from the chamber C and the other face of the cutoff position. In order to reset the engine, the engine man must move the automatic brake valve handle into the emergency position of the main reserve in the connected port number 12 of the brake valve with the flow past the unseated selector check valve of the chamber B beneath the cutoff position of the valve or the position of the force of the cutoff pistons. Its spool valve upwardly in normally released position for the number 553 pipe being supplied to the airflow with the number 12 pipe. Number 12 cannot be dissipated with the cutoff pilot valve, the brake valve, as in this case of the system employing the HB5 relay air valve previously described. The brake valve handle must be moved release position before the number 53 air pressure can be drained, then brake released. The silent inherent delay of the releasing of the brakes has been introduced using the arrangement of the break-into protection. On trailing unit, the main reserve air pressure is supplied to the number 53 pipe with the cutout pipe in position in the out position. Therefore, the chamber B beneath the cutoff piston spool valve is charged with the main reserve pressure. With the chambers A and B and the main reserve pressure, the presence of the main reserve pressure in the chamber C is supplied through the actuating piston. Spool valve does not provide with the force to move the cutout piston inwardly and describe the break-into of the lead unit. The PC switch automatic standing is actuated by the main reserve air after being supplied to number 8. All right, during a manual brake valve emergency application on the lead unit, chamber B beneath the cutoff spool valve is charged with the main air reserve of the valve. Feed the port number 12, the number 12 pipe from the automatic brake valve. Thus, with the chambers A, B, and C, they're all charged in the main reserve pressure. The cutoff piston spool valve remain in the upper position shown in the piston diagram, position diagrammatic on the figure 8. The PC switch automatic standing are actuated with the main reserve air pressure flowing from the port number 9. The dynamic cutout switch is actuated with the main reserve air supplied directly in the brake valve, emergency valve, and the number 12 pipe and number 24A double check valve. When it's depressed in the valve of the brake valve handles should be moved to the release position. There will be inherently delay governing the time required to exhaust number 53 through the cutoff valve pipe before the brake pipe cutoff valve will then can open to permit recharging the system, releasing the brakes. With the 2 HP5 relay valves, the brake into the protection employing with the 2 HP5 relay air valve showing on the diagram. The plate 3, the lower, the HP5 relay air valve is piped to the brake pipe in such a manner that upon brake into the function supply the main reserve air reserve to air pressure to the outer face of the diaphragm upper to the HP5 relay valve 2. This is the HP5 relay valve. You see the piston, seats and stuff. Actuated. The main reserve is also delivered with the power cutoff switch, cutoff and dynamic cutoff switches. Then standing controls the upper HP5 relay valve with the actuated with the supply main reserve to the air pressure of the port. Has the number 53 of the 26C brake valve with the close to the brake pipe cutoff with the relay air valve with the lock in the applied position until the reset. It's recessed to the moving automatic brake valve with handle in the emergency position after the brakes can be released, moving the brake valve handle to the release position. During the normal operation, brake pipe with the fully charged with thus pipes number 10 and 13 in the lower HP valve with relay valve with the number 90 cubic inches reserve are fully charged in the position of the relay air valve into its normal release position as shown in figure 9. In this position, port number 11 connected to the port number 9, which is plugged in the installation main reserve air supply from port number 12 is cut off with the lower valve. Whenever the brake into occurs, the brake pipe pressure drops in a much faster rate in the port number 13. The spring chamber beneath the diaphragm then does in number 10 pipe in the chamber above the diaphragm result in pressure differential across the relay air valve diaphragm cause the diaphragm assembly to be forced downward, seating the upper valve and seating the lower valve. In this position, number 11 and number 12 is connected to the main reserve air flow through port number 11 and pass through 3/8 of an inch check valve with the number 10 connection to the upper relay air valve. The main reserve air flows to the dynamic cutout switch and the power cutoff switch PC switch to standing in the operation of those devices. The air pressure actuating the outer face of the diaphragm of the upper relay air valve with the lower valve is unseated to permit the main reserve to air flow to the port number 12, port number 11, to number 53 connection to the 26C brake valve, then the brake pipe with the cutout valve with the portion number 20, number 53 closes to terminate further brake pipe charging. Also time maintaining the reserve air flowing from port number 11 to the upper relay valve air is banks against the 3/8 of an inch check valve, flows in the dynamic cutout switch connection to number 10 of the relay air valve. Port number 53 is automatic brake valve and is connected to the exhaust through the spool valve with the cutout valve that provides audible warning that a break-into has occurred and it has occurred in the automatic brake valve handle should be moved in the emergency position. After the brake pipe pressure has been exhausted completely for 90 cubic inches in volume, the reserve, the number 10 of the lower the HP relay valve has been forced the diaphragm seal with the move of the diaphragm assembly upward to allow the relay air valve to reset itself, setting the lower valve with the upper seat of the valve. This determines further flow of the main reserve air through the lower relay air valve to the upper relay air valve. However, the upper relay air valve remains applied position and the main reserve air supplied through it continues to be applied in position whenever the main reserve air continues to flow with the brake pipe cutoff valve and the 26C brake valve and the dynamic cutout switch. In order to reset the upper HB5 relay valve after the break-into operation, the engine must move the automatic brake valve handles the emergency position. The main reserve air is connected to the number 12 pipe. The brake valve flows. The number 13 connects to the HB5 relay air valve through the port number 13 of the spring chamber beneath the diaphragm assembly. As soon as the air pressure is balanced and across the diaphragm will force the diaphragm assembly upwardly and close to the number 12 and the number 11 connection through the relay air valve, thus terminating further flow of the main reserve air to the number 53 connection and 26 brake valve of the brake pipe cut off the air pressure to the number 53 and the behind the brake pipe cut out, as well as the number 10 pipe between the relay air valve and the diaphragm. 3/8 of an inch check valve then is dissipated, venting through the cutout pipe valve exhaust. The brakes can then be released and the system can be recharged by moving the automatic brake valve handle to the release position after the two brake in two has been repaired. Dynamic braking interlocking feature.